Okay, so let's take a look at an application of these 4 shuffles. And as always, I should remind you that not only can we perform any of these 4 shuffles in the demonstration I'm going to present, you can actually perform any of the shuffles in this entire series and still finish in the way that we will finish. So here I'm just beginning with an ordered packet, Ace of Clubs through the 8 of Clubs. Okay, so that's where we're beginning. So let's go ahead and just perform these 4 shuffles in any order that you would like. Now, of course, you're not here, so I'll just have to kind of randomly choose an order. But just realize that you truly would be free, and the spectator would be free, to choose any ordering for the performing of these shuffles. And beyond that, they can actually request to have any of these shuffles performed any number of times and in any order, which is absolutely amazing. So let's say you ask for shuffle 26 first. Okay, so that is a judicious transpose in which we do this leapfrog stacking from right to left. Okay, so here, remember, a transpose, you're dealing to the table. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's important. Now for shuffle 26, top row right, we're going to stack the 4th pile. This is pile 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th pile on top of the 2nd pile. The 3rd pile, which is the one right here, on top of the 1st. And then for shuffle 26, we see that we stack the left on top of the right. And the shuffle that we just performed, this leaping over its neighbor, is often called a leapfrog shuffle. Okay, so 26 is complete. Which one would you like to do next? 27? Okay, so 27 is where we just push off pairs. So you just push off the top 2. Here we're not rearranging their order. That's why it's called a push off. You're not like dealing them like that. And then the stacking for shuffle 27 is from left to right. So 1 goes on top of 2, 2 and 3 go on, 1 and 2 go on top of 3, 1, 2, and 3 go on top of 4. Okay, now which one would you like now? 25? Shuffle 25? Okay, so we're back to a judicious transpose. So a transpose, once again, is where you deal into pairs, like that. You deal into pairs. And the stacking for shuffle 25 is this leapfrog stacking again. You take the 4th pile and leap over the 3rd, landing on the 2nd. You take the 3rd pile, leap over this little packet, and land on the 1st. And then for shuffle 25, we're stacking the right pile on top of the left. Okay, so which one have we not done? I believe it's shuffle 28 that we still need to do. So shuffle 28 is back to a push-off pairs. So don't rearrange the cards within these pairs. Just push them off and set them down. What is the stacking for shuffle 28? We're going to stack from right to left. So we're going to go like this. So pile 4 goes on top of pile 3, which goes on top of pile 2, which goes on top of pile 1. Okay, very good. So we've performed each of these shuffles in a random order, an order that you truly would be free to choose. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a triangle deal. It's kind of fun. So a triangle deal, you may have seen this before. It's a fun way to kind of randomize the cards. And so we're going to, of course, stack the cards again so that they're all together as a packet of 8. And then what I'd like to do now is I'd like to deal into a square. So 4 piles. Now I want you to tell me like where you want each of these. Now you're not here, so I'm going to have to kind of randomly select places to put things, but just know that if you were here, you could put these wherever you wanted. So maybe I'll put it there. Maybe you want this one here, this one down there, this one also down there, and the last one there. Okay? And now I'm going to pick up these pairs according to your instructions. So which one should I pick up first? This one? Okay. What should I pick up next? The one way up here? Okay. And what should go next? The top one. Okay. And then the bottom one. Okay. So just realize that those are free choices, that if you were here, you could actually make those choices. Now, at this point, I could have you just cut the cards randomly. Just cut the cards somewhere. Or what we can do is perform what's called a Charlier shuffle. Now, I have a separate video on my channel that talks about the Charlier shuffle. This is where you push over a number of cards, any number, and then from the bottom, you push over a certain number. So bottom to top, top here to bottom, bottom to top. That's the little mantra I repeat to myself to keep track of things. So top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom. Okay, so you can do as many of these as you like, or if you want to keep things simple, just have the spectator cut the cards once, like I did just a few moments ago. Okay, but I wanted to point out that you can Charlier shuffle this packet. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just deal, let's see, now of course you're not here, so I have to kind of pretend that you're across the table from me, but we're going to deal them into two piles. So there we go, two piles, and of course there's 4 cards in each. So what I'm going to try to do, believe it or not, is have you randomly choose, just point to one of the piles, and I'm going to try to divine which cards are in that pile. Ooh. Okay, so which one would you like me to work with? You want me to state the identity of the cards in your pile? Okay. So let me see if I can get a sense as to what values. Are they high values, low values? Are they evens or odds? I'm getting a sense that there's, 2 evens and 2 odds. That's kind of curious. I think the even values are 2 and 8, and the odd values are 3 and 5. Let's just check to see if I did that correctly. So I said 2 and 8, and 3 and 5. Check that out. How in heaven's name was I able to sense that after all of that randomization in which you, as the spectator, made vital choices? Okay, so how did I do this? So how are we using our knowledge of Bessey sequences and Bessey shuffles here? Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So we started with the packet ace through 8, of course. Okay, and then what I want you to think about is, if we view this as a Bessey sequence right now, so if in your mind's eye you view this as a Bessey sequence, so why don't we go ahead and kind of put our little quintessential Bessey sequence down here. Well, we already know that the position values that are important to us are positions 1, 4, 6, and 7. So that's where our 1s down here are located, leaving as also an important set of position values 2, 3, 5, 8. Okay? So if in your mind's eye you view this currently as a Bessey sequence, the 2 sets of position values of importance to us will just be 1, 4, 6, 7, which has always been the case, right? For a packet 1 through 8, 1, 4, 6, 7, and then the other position values of importance are 2, 3, 5, 8. So any of these shuffles that we've been showing you in this series will not undermine the fact that this is a Bessey sequence. Okay, now what did I do from there? Do you remember? I did this triangle deal. Now, it really will be pretty important that you've watched some of the videos regarding Bessey sequences on this playlist, because the underlying structure of the packets of interest to us here are Bessey sequences. And so if you're not really clear on what those are, you may get confused. And then stack in opposite order, so counterclockwise instead of clockwise. What it will do is it will take a sequence of this type, let's say 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 0, or 0 1 1 0 1 0 0 1, and it will convert it to 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 0. That's what it will convert it to, or the inversion of this Bessey sequence. This triangle deal that we've just performed will convert that to 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1. Now the point being that the cards that were in positions 1 4 6 7 are going to be grouped together here in some order. So 1 4 6 7 will be there, and then over here will be the 2 3 5 8. Okay, maybe I'll just draw a little line to keep that separate there. Okay, and then a similar thing here. 2 3 5 8 will be somewhere here, followed by 1 4 6 7 in some order. Okay, so they're actually in blocks of 4 because of that triangle deal. And that was a wonderful insight that Warner Miller came up with, and I've used it several times in my videos. So what it means in particular is everything that was in positions 1 4 6 7 will be on top, and what was in position 2 3 5 8 will be on bottom. And so we can kind of just verify that. We'll take a peek under the hood here. So we see here that we have 1 4 6 7, and of course here we'll have 2 3 5 8 in some order. We don't know the order within sets of 4 cards. Okay, well, think about it. To now do this square deal, that's what I did next. So up here we have 4 cards that we're hoping to keep track of, that they're grouped together 1 4 6 7 in some way. So if I deal this down, and maybe this one and this one and this one, what it means then is the bottom level is going to consist of what was the top half, namely 1 4 6 7. And then if I put the remaining 4 cards down, the top level of these piles will consist of 2 3 5 8 in some order. Now we don't care about the order within the levels. So level 1, we don't care how those are ordered. Level 2 now, we don't care how those cards are ordered. But what we know from here is that creating this situation where we essentially have like a 1 at the bottom, 0 on top, 1 at the bottom, 0 on top, 1 at the bottom, 0 on top, 1 at the bottom, 0 on top. If we stack these, so think, that's 1 0, 1 0, it's alternating. 1 0, still alternating. 1 0. This is an alternating packet. It alternates our values 1 4 6 7 with 2 3 5 8. Okay, so let's just show you that. So we get an alternation of the values in these 2 sets. So we begin with 3, so that's from that set. Ace is from the left, 2 is over here on the right, 4 is on the left, 8 is on the right, 6 is on the left, 5 is on the right, 7 is on the left. So this is an alternating packet. This is called a cyclic packet. So alternating, one of the things you can do with an alternating packet is you can cut it anywhere and it will not undermine the alternation. Now it may change like which card's on top, right? Whether it be one of these cards or one of these. It might do that, of course. Or we can perform a Charlier shuffle, which is equivalent to just cutting the cards at some location. As mentioned, I have a video on the Charlier shuffle, so if you want to learn that one, it's a very convincing shuffle because it looks like the cards are being genuinely mixed, when in fact all of those actions taken together are equivalent to just cutting the cards at some location, which is absolutely amazing. So the point being that we still have an alternating structure. So what this means then is if I kind of like straighten up the packet and kind of take a peek at the bottom card is an 8. We know it comes from this set of values. The bottom card, if I begin dealing to the spectator first, will be dealt to me. So I know that at the end, my little pile of 4 cards will consist of 2, 3, 5, 8 in some order. The spectator's cards will consist of 1, 4, 6, 7 in some order. So now I just alternately deal these. Okay, remember, the last card is 8. I know I'm receiving that one, which means all of the other ones are going to come from this set of card values. And so what I did from there is I said, well, I'm going to try to deduce what cards are in, one of the packets here. And of course, doing that, by elimination, you've identified the values of the others, right? So I asked them, okay, which pile of cards would you like me to try to divine the card values in that pile? And I believe in the presentation, I had the spectators say they wanted me to divine the card values in their pile. Well, I know I have the cards that go with 8, 2, 3, 5, 8. So these cards must be 1, 4, 6, 7 in some order. Now, it is true I won't know the order, which is fine. And so a way to keep that from being some kind of distraction, if you remember, when I did it, these card values were in the spectator's pile. So what I said was, I'm feeling that there's an equal number of evens and odds. Ooh, that's kind of curious. And the even values are 2 and 8, and the odd values are 3 and 5. So because of how I stated my prediction of what makes up that packet, no one's going to expect me, it won't necessarily make sense to expect me to have named them like this is exactly 2 or 4 or whatever it might be. I'm just stating the list of card values that are present somewhere in this pile, okay? But going back, remember, I have 8 in my pile. So these are my cards. In the presentation, these cards were the spectator's cards, okay? So just maybe be clear on that. So I know that the spectator's cards consist of 1, 4, 6, 7 in some order. So I could pull the same trick and say, wow, that's weird. I'm sensing that there's an even number of evens and odds. That's kind of weird. What are they? I think the odd values you have are 1 and 7, I think. 1 and 7. And the even values you have are 4 and 6. Yeah, I can see a 6 here. So let's check to see if I'm right. So I think it's odd values 1 and 7, even values 4 and 6. Let's see if I got it right. Oh, I did indeed. Look at that. Odd values 1 or ace and a 7, even values 4 and 6. How in the world did I do that? Or we could even say, how in the world did we do that together? Because the spectator was the one who chose much of the randomization of the cards that truly did determine the order of the cards, despite additional actions I might take to also try to mix them up. Okay? So there's no way that I could know ahead of time the order in which the spectator would ask for these 4 shuffles. And once again, the amazing thing is that you could perform, when we were performing these 4 shuffles in some order that we're showing you today, you could perform any of the shuffles that we've shown you thus far, all 28 of them. You could perform them in any quantity, in any order, and still finish in the way that we did. I think the only real subtlety is that right before, so we created that alternating packet of values in these two sets, and right before I do like a dealing to you and then me, I just have to peek. You know, remember? I just have to know the identity of the bottom card. Once I know that, I know that's going to be dealt to me, because I'm going to deal to you first, and that brings along with it all of the other cards in that set of position values. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I encourage you to take a look at some of the other videos on the Hidden Structures channel, and also the next video in this particular series.